lot of sugar there.
A lot of sugar here.
A much better option would be a couple of eggs. I fried these up this morning before I came, took a couple of minutes. These are organic eggs. If you can buy organic eggs, and grass-fed is even the best choice when, you know, when it's the season to have grass. Those are packed with omega-3 oils, and omega-3 oils are anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So this would be a wonderful breakfast to kind of squelch the fire or put out the pain and inflammation. And then I have some whole grain toast. And it's hard to tell because the lights in the studio kind of melted it, but this is actually real butter versus the margarine that we put on the pancakes.
Yes, so eat this, not this. And I bet you have a lot more energy for a lot longer.
Right, and you know, the reason why, and I bet you can put in your 2 cents on this too, a meal like this is what I call balanced.
Okay.
Because you have a protein, a carbohydrate being the toast, and a healthy fat, which is the real butter. If you get all three components, protein, carb, fat, you balance your blood sugar, and that makes you feel a lot better and decreases that pain and inflammation. And I know you strive to balance your blood sugar.
Right, exactly. I know I can control mine with diet, and unlike my father, had to have insulin. So I choose to eat correctly, and so it ends up I have a lot more energy, and I feel a lot better throughout the whole day.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I brought some lunch examples too.
Okay, so that will help our viewers also on some lunch.
Yeah, so moving to lunch, I drove through the drive-thru, and I was telling you before we went on air how evil I felt doing this. I just don't do that anymore, and I do not miss it. I do not miss it because I feel so much better eating real foods. But I picked up a double cheeseburger, some fries, and I asked for a medium Coke. And I get up to the window, and she hands me this. And I tried to give it back. I said, no, I wanted a medium. She said, oh, that's our new medium. Like, she was all excited. She said, we made our large our medium, and now our large is, I don't know how many ounces.
Sure, and this is, I understand, Coca-Cola.
Lord, that's Coke. Talk about sugar. I don't even know. I'm guessing that's probably 40 teaspoons of sugar.
Yes, wow.
I'm betting. That's, yeah. And then, you know, white potatoes are going to turn to sugar, and that's what your French fries are made out of, not to mention the trans fats in the French fries. And believe it or not, a fast food burger has a lot of sugar in it because the bun has high fructose corn syrup, and the ketchup, if you're getting ketchup on your burger, also has sugar and high fructose corn syrup. So a fast food meal is high in trans fats and high in sugar.
Very much so. And next time we'll have to bring in a battery, and I will pour some of the Coke onto a battery, and the battery will actually clean. The Coke will clean the battery. Which
is a good kind of hints from Heloise type thing. If you have some really stubborn stains on your dishes, let them soak in Coke for about a minute, and they come right off. It just eats away the stains on your dishes as it cleans the battery.
Right.
Kind of the same concept. Isn't that scary?
Well, it scares me to know that our younger generations are putting this into their system.
Yeah, it goes into a lot of different areas when we're talking about pain and inflammation.
Right.
So I have a better option.
Yeah, that's great, because also when we're talking about this, you know, people think, oh, they're young, they're this, they're that, but then they're going to pay for it in the years to come. So.
Yes, if they're not paying for it now, absolutely the years to come. You know, I was visiting with one of our teachers a few days ago who actually started out as a client with us. Fell in love with what nutrition did for her family and has since come to teach for us. But she was telling me the story of, I bet it's been 5 years ago now, when she brought her 12-year-old daughter to my boss, Darlene Kavist. And the daughter had a lot of different things going on, but one of the main ones was asthma. And you often hear that maybe dairy is the culprit with asthma, and so that was my question for this teacher of ours. And she said, no. She said, you know what it was? It was all the high-carb processed foods. And my boss had suggested in this nutrition consult that she just balance out her daughter's meals and stop eating things from a bag or a box. And she said since that visit 5 years ago, the daughter has not had to have prednisone for her asthma, has never been to the emergency room. And before that was a common thing, that when these asthma attacks would come on, it would be emergency room a lot of times, or at least a doctor visit, and a prescription for, you know, a prednisone or a cortisone to try to downplay that inflammation.
Well, you see it in the schools now. You see a lot of the fact that a lot of the children are having asthma. They're diabetic. You know, when it comes to a birthday treat, you know, they have to go and get their blood tested prior. And then if they can't have that birthday treat because it's all sugar, you know, they supplement it with something else. You know,
and now did we get here, right?
I know.
I mean, the kids are very sick today.
Well, we didn't used to have a lot of the processed foods that we're having now. Everyone either grew their own, we're going back to the organic, we're going back to growing our own vegetables, trying to get healthy again. Yeah. So let's go back on this. If someone does have, we're not going to eat the actual Burger King. So what is it that you, as a dietitian, you know, registered, that you would recommend for us to eat?
Well, I always like to tell busy families that you can eat fast without eating fast food. And one of the things that really works for me, especially this time of the year, is to make a double batch of chili when I'm making it. So the first cold day of the season, I made up a bunch of chili. And we ate some that night, but then because I made a double batch, I had lunch-size portions to freeze. So then when I'm heading out the door in the morning for work, I can throw that frozen chili in my lunch bag. You know, and if you're at work and have a microwave and can heat it up.
Which majority of the new businesses do have.
And then if you can put a side salad with it, you know, and this doesn't have to take a lot of time. Buy a bagged Caesar, throw it in your dish, Parmesan cheese, and do a good dressing, and that's a very balanced meal that is going to keep your blood sugars balanced, which in turn will lead to less pain, less inflammation.
Right, and you won't be as tired.
And you won't be as tired.
You
know, when you eat a high sugar meal, and we talked about how, believe it or not, fast food is very high sugar, imagine spiking your blood sugar, because that's what happens. You really hit a really high blood sugar, and your body is always going to have an opposite and equal reaction, and you bottom out. And when you hit that low, low blood sugar, that's when you feel so dang tired. And that's when the cravings set in too. Because now your body needs something to keep it going, and those cravings can really sabotage us.
Yeah, exactly. If you start off with high sugar, then you need to keep that normal high. And so you just keep on grabbing cookies and ice cream and not so good things. And so it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, I deserve this when you see a candy bar. You know, but yet you're not doing your body any favor by eating it.
There's no nutrients.
No, none at all. You're actually harming your body by doing it. You deserve to have something healthier. Buy your actual chili and your salads. And how much easier can it be when you go to the grocery store in a bag, you know, and you rip that open, throw it on a plate, throw a little tuna on there. There's your fast food. Probably took you less time to do that than going through the drive-thru.
That's a good point, because sometimes around the lunch hour you drive by those fast food places and there really is, sadly, a long lineup. So that's a very good point. Or another one that I often recommend, you know, if you got caught where you didn't plan ahead, because sometimes life happens, instead of driving through the fast food on the way home to get a meal for the family, stop at your local grocery store and pick up a rotisserie chicken. You can get the frozen, you know, green beans that you can microwave or cook in 5 minutes on your stovetop. It doesn't have to be elaborate.
And I tell you, those rotisserie chickens, you know, you can either call ahead. Also, with your cell phone, with everyone now, you can call ahead, and they'll have it ready. You have your choices of 4 different flavors. You know, and what a great thing.
There are better options than fast food.
And you're teaching your children some good nutrients values also, So that's great.
I think that's one of the best things we can do for our kids, is to set the example.
Yeah, that would be really great. Well, you know, along with our crazy schedules, I know that nutrients plays a big factor with what we eat and what we put into our body that radiates out through all of our bloodstreams. So, you know, people really need to know what you put into your body is probably 80% of, you know, not only nutrients, but also your weight and your balance and things like that. But how much difference have you seen nutrition makes for people with lots of pain and inflammation then, in your professional opinion?
It makes such a difference. You know, I mean, there are numerous clients I can think of one of them that comes to mind, it was so interesting to see her.